Hi guys, Dr. Kruse here. This is elementary statistics, and this is a quick video on how to weight grades. Lots of times if you're a teacher, your grades don't all weigh the same. You like to give maybe tests a lot more weight than homework, something like that. So first thing you do is just kind of pretend you're a teacher and just say, well, what do I want to grade these kids on? Do I want to grade them on homework, labs, tests, attendance, participation? What do I want to grade them on? And once you figure out what you want to grade them on, then figure out how much weight you want to give each one of these. Which one is more important? Well, one class might say that tests are the most important. I'm going to make those weigh 80 pounds. I'm going to say pounds because it makes more sense when you're talking about weight. And then homework would need to weigh the rest of the 100 pounds. They'd need to weigh 20 pounds because they need to add up to 100 pounds. Now, instead of pounds, we're really talking about percent, all right? So this is worth 20%. This is worth 80% for a total of 100%. But usually in statistics, we speak in decimal. This is speaking in percent. We usually speak in decimal. So 20% is 0.20, 80% is 0.80, and 100% is 1.00. So if you're speaking percent, 20% plus 80% is 100%. If you're speaking decimal, 0.20 plus 0.80 is 1.00. So 100% and 1.00 are the same thing. All right, once you figure out what your categories are and how much you want each one of them to weigh, well, now just look at your raw data. Look at the actual scores. So this student averaged an 80 on homework, and they averaged a 70 on test. Well, they don't get to keep all of those points. Out of those 80 points they scored on homework, they only get to keep 20% of those 80. Now, of in math means times, so you can put a little dot right here, and you could say 20% times 80. That means 20% of 80. 0.20 times 80 is 16, so they get to keep, out of those 80 points, they only get to keep 16 of them. They get to keep 20% of those 80. That's only 16 points. Their test average was 70. They don't get to keep all 70 points. They get to keep 80% of 70. So that's 0.80 times 70. They get to keep 56 of those 70 points. Now, when I add the points that they get to keep, that's their overall grade. 16 and 56, 72 is their overall, it's called a weighted average or a weighted grade. So let's do another quick example here. Maybe it's a science teacher and they want to give you a lab grade and they want to give you 2 chapter tests and then they want to give you a final exam at the end. And maybe they think the final exam is the most important. So if they think the final exam is the most important, they're going to give it the most weight. So they're making this weigh 29 pounds. Each test weighs 25 pounds and the lab weighs 21 pounds for a total of 100 pounds. Now just replace pounds with percent. So 21% of your grade is lab, 25% is test 1, 25% is test 2, and your final exam is 29% of your grade for a total of 100% if you're speaking percent, and for a total of 1 if you're speaking decimal. So here's their raw data. This is what they actually scored in the lab on each test. Looked like they bombed the first test and did really well on the second test. And the final was pretty good. That's a B. That's a good grade. So this is their raw score, but they don't get to keep all those points. They get to keep 21% of those 88 points. That's about 18.48 points. They get to keep 25% of the 64. That's 16 points. 25% of the 99. That's 24.75 points. And they get to keep 29% of the 83. That's 24.07 points. And when you add that up, their overall score for the class is 83.3. Now, the final example I'm going to show you is if somebody's using a different scale. For example, this is a nursing supervisor who's grading nurses on their promptness, their record keeping, their appearance, and their bedside manner. And she's using a 10-point scale. She's making appearance weigh the most. It's weighing 4 of those 10 points. And it looks like record keeping is next. It's worth 3 of the 10 points, and then bedside manner. And then promptness appears to be the least important. It has the least weight. Well, this is a 10-point scale, and what I just showed you up here, that's a 1-point scale. This makes more sense to me, and this is what I like to work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert her 10-point scale to my 1-point scale. I'm just going to make it 10 times smaller. I'm going to divide this by 10 to get 1, which means I make all of these 10 times smaller. Divide by 10, that's 0.10. 3 divided by 10, 0.30. Divide by 10, 0.40. Divide by 10, 0.20. And now it looks like that scale that I was using up above. So to me, that's a little easier. If they're using a different scale, just convert it to the scale you're used to. The nursing supervisor gave them a 1 for promptness, 3 for record keeping, 3 for appearance, and 6 for bedside manner. Now let's see how much they get to keep. They get to keep 10% of that 1 point, so that's 0.1. They keep 30% of those 3 points, that's 0.9 points. They keep 40% of the 3 points, that's 1.2 points they get to keep. And 20% of the 6 points, they get to keep 1.2 points there, for a total of 3.4 out of 10. That's their weighted average. All right, that's it for weighted average.